The truth about the first year that I started my clothing brand is that it was an absolute show. We had no idea what we were doing. And you may see me now having $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 months, but in my first year, I'm telling you, it was like ugly, like really ugly. And I want to share with you the details of the first year growing my brand and truly how little I knew, how bad my results were, just to sort of hopefully show you that you can start from a place of being really bad, not knowing anything, and really struggling at the beginning, to slowly building your brand to the point where it's like, wow, this is actually something real and something good here. So I hope you enjoy. Apparel Success here is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd. If designs are something that you struggle with, I really recommend that you try them out. You post a project on Design Crowd, amazing designers from all around the world are going to compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. I've sold thousands of these designs on my website, and I got them all made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel, and you can learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. The good old days, back in 2016, when I started up my clothing brand. I think we did maybe $8,000 or $10,000 in sales the entire first year. And if there was one thing we did right, which there weren't very many at all, it was that we had fairly low expectations going into this. So we weren't one of those brands that started up thinking we were going to be worth like $1 million, within the first couple of weeks. We had realistic expectations, and we went into this thing thinking, okay, let's view this as a learning experience. No matter what happens, we're going to gain something out of it, and we can take it with us into future projects. Little did I know that, I'd slowly figure it out over time and that I'd eventually start making some pretty serious sales. But the first year was basically this struggle to understand the whole game. Because when I started, I really didn't understand, that we needed a sales funnel. I didn't understand that we needed, credibility. We needed social proof, that the fact that we had 100 followers on our social media accounts was affecting the perception of our brand, and it was hurting our ability to make sales. So there's obviously no way to shortcut these things. You need to do it a legit way, but it was basically just coming to the realization that these things needed to be in place. This quick story that I want to share with you from our first year is probably the most traumatizing thing I've experienced in business, but I think it's important to share with you. About 2 months into starting our brand, we decided to set up a tent at a local hockey event. There was this big hockey tournament going on where different brands would come in and set up their tents. And at the time, we thought we were selling to hockey players. We thought that that's who the brand was for, because the name of our brand, K-Bud, came from slang that we heard on the ice playing hockey. Like everybody talks like, K-Bud, sure bud. And all we had was 2 different designs of t-shirts, and they were just regular designs that said K-Bud on them. And we really struggled at this event. It was the most humbling experience of my entrepreneurial journey. We were just sitting there in a tent, and maybe the entire weekend we had like 12 customers, something like that. It was so hard to get through. But one thing that we did get out of that experience, of the 12 customers that bought from us at this event, we talked to all of them and we got to know them. And one of the reasons why that happened was because they thought the brand was so funny, they thought the brand was so sick, that they just wanted to hang out and talk and figure out what the brand was all about and where it all started. And all of these 12 customers, they came from different places from out of town. And so we realized this brand actually wasn't for hockey. It was for rural Canadians, people living in small towns in Canada who speak this way. And it just happened to be that these small town Canadians were also at this event playing hockey. But they didn't buy because they're hockey players. They bought because of their connection to small town Canada, of the way that we talk in small town Canada. And so it was really this light bulb moment for us. And we also got tagged in a whole bunch of pictures actually online on our Instagram account from these customers that bought from us at this event. Even though there were only 12 of them, they were tagging us in pictures, they were communicating with us online, and they were actually really cool dudes. So they really helped us out at the beginning, getting feedback about the brand, understanding who our actual market was, and getting some pretty cool pictures of some cool people wearing our stuff out and about. It was after that tournament that we realized we should shift the brand from a hockey-centric brand to a brand that's for the lifestyle in rural Canada and in small town Canada. And when we made that switch, we noticed that we'd start to get like 1 order a week or like 2 orders a week trickling in on our website when we'd be making posts on our Instagram. And we noticed that there were some orders coming in. And it was also right around this time that I was learning about the concepts of social proof and leverage. Social proof is basically the more people that are supporting something, the easier it is for other people to buy into that thing. So, it's way harder to get your first customer than it is to get your 1,000th customer. And basically, the more people that support something, the more high status people that support something, the more value it tends to have, the more perceived value it tends to have. And so I was realizing that my clothing brand, as much as it was kind of going after this unique identity and this unique audience, I realized that there was nothing that was giving it any distinction. There was nothing that was increasing its value or getting it to turn heads. So I thought to myself, how can I get my clothing brand onto celebrities and influencers that my audience looks up to in rural Canada and in small town Canada? And so I reached out to this rapper in Canada that's pretty well known. His name's Classified. And basically everybody in small town Canada and rural Canada knows who Classified is. And I messaged him on Instagram. I said, hey man, we'd love to send you, one of our hoodies. If you're interested, let us know. We'll send it off for free. Thanks. And so he got back to us and was like, yeah, absolutely. This sounds sweet. We sent him the hoodie. We sent him the hat. And then literally 2 weeks later, we saw him in a Facebook Live video wearing our hat. And I remember just being like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's wearing our hat right now. And then basically in all of these posts for the next 6 months on his Instagram account, he was wearing our brand and he had our hat on. And even though not everybody noticed or it got like all this attention from other people, some of those pictures were absolutely huge for us to post on our own account, to post on our website. And that is really what got us to start turning heads within our niche. That's what made it a lot easier to make sales at the beginning, was gaining some sort of credibility, gaining some sort of influence on our market. Because before that, all we had was just a couple random dudes that had started up a clothing brand with really nothing notable about it. And not long after that, I realized, wow, Classified, that was huge. Maybe we can get onto some more people. Maybe we can just hand out some more free gear to some high status people. And this is where I really unlocked this concept of leverage. Because what leverage is it's basically the difference in outputs and inputs in a system. So if you can imagine, with Classified, it might have taken me 8 hours messaging him, giving him free gear. It was like $100 worth of free clothing from us that we're just shipping off for free, a bit of a risk, right? But the upside of actually having him support us is exponential, because it's everything you need as a clothing brand in order to really start making some sales at all. So those 8 hours that I put in messaging and trying to make all of that work and network was worth it basically for the next 6 years of our clothing brand. The same thing can be said about growing a following on social media or, getting other people to wear your clothing. It may seem like a lot of work up front, but that work up front, if it can give you exponential returns, it's more than worth it for you to put in that work. And so for you watching this right now, you can shortcut all of this lack of understanding because you know that these are the things that you need. So you know that you need to, build up a social media following. You know that you need to get onto celebrities and influencers and have people supporting you that are high status. You know that all of this is going to affect the perception of your brand. And so you can shortcut this like confused state that I was in when I first started in my first year and just start working on those things a lot quicker, because the faster you attain that for your brand, the faster you're going to start finally getting some grounding that's allowing you to start getting some serious sales. And from there, I learned about something known as a sales funnel. Believe it or not, I didn't even really know what a sales funnel was. And when I learned about this, I realized, okay, well, I need a certain amount of traffic to the website every single day. Because if I don't have enough traffic, only a certain percentage of your traffic is going to convert into sales. So now I need to really figure out how am I going to get traffic to the website. And that's when I started absolutely blasting Instagram. Because back in 2016, 2017, if you were working Instagram really, really hard, you could get a lot of traffic to your website. You still can today. It's just obviously a little bit different because now it's all Instagram Reels, whereas back then it was just like regular posts. But it's the same thing. Just you need a traffic source, and you need to just, okay, if you realize that you need a traffic source, then how are you going to get traffic to the website? There needs to be a solution there, because if there's not, you're not going to get any traffic to your site. And so that was basically my whole journey as an entrepreneur in my first year. And that's what got us from, $10,000 in our first year to like $100,000 in our second year. It was a massive jump because we got those influencers, we got those celebrities, we went through the fire of gaining all of this value for our brand and figuring out who we are. And in the second year, it became a whole lot easier. It still was a struggle, and we were figuring new things out, but we weren't such noobs that we literally couldn't get a single order like at all. So it was really, this rough learning experience, and that's my journey. So I hope you can kind of learn from my experience, and I hope that it helps you get results a lot faster than I did. My clothing brand marketing program is 50% off until the end of the year, and this is the last sale that I'm ever going to have. I break down real conversations I've had with celebrities and influencers to land endorsements for my own brand. I show you how to grow a real following on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube from scratch. And I show you how to set up, structure, and scale up Facebook ads and TikTok ads for your clothing brand. If you're interested, you can learn more about what's inside at clothingbrandmarketing.com, and I hope to see you inside.